Hey, I want to say Shabbat Shalom to everybody out there. Israelite and non-Israelite, it's still a beautiful Saturday. And I got the urge to make a video today, just reflecting on some of the things that's been coming out all together and all the people that's been speaking out, starting with the Rebel Alliance media from the beginning. I mean, they've been calling out Tazadakia and the practices of the ICGJC and the doctrine of the ICGJC since, I could remember. I remember when the order first came out to not listen to anybody speaking out against the church, instead of the normal just defending, the gospel doctrine. It makes me really look at how the scriptures can be a double-edged sword, meaning that it could have double meaning and double entendres. And you see how a lot of times the scriptures can be manipulated so easily. And this is what makes this faith-based beliefs so difficult. But when you have facts that come out, like all the evidence that's being brought out by the Injustice League, who are former members of the ICGJC cult, you have no choice but to take this evidence as evidence, as Exhibit A, the same way you would do in a court case. You have to look at the situation rationally, and denying evidence or obstructing evidence is just another way for you to be misled. So I want everybody who is still in the ICGJC, probably celebrating their Sabbath today and, going up to the podium at a Majim Shabbat, I would be up there saying, Captain of 13,000 of War Makapash, Bun Yasha Allah, Bun Shemaiah one. I remember these days, I was there. This is something that nobody in there can deny. When I opened my house up to many brothers in there, brothers like Raib the Bar, Manatazak, when I would give brothers rides all over the place. Cats like Yashar, Manatazak, Amma One, Ma'ai all these brothers in there that y'all remember me. I even see some of y'all on the street and y'all turn your face. You don't have the courage to face me and deal with the information logically, because you know that somewhere down the line you're gonna get caught and you're gonna look stupid because you're gonna have nothing to say. There is nothing to say. I mean, what can you say about a sister that y'all brothers and sisters in Orlando, Florida knew, who's now saying the same things that Tazadakia's baby mother of 5 children is saying, pretty much, that he's a sociopath, he's a liar, he's a deceiver, he's a manipulator. Main thing you need to realize is how he manipulates you guys so easily, and it's always through the scriptures. But can we use scriptures against Tazadakia? You don't remember the scripture in Ecclesiasticus 37 that says that there's one who can teach many, but he's unprofitable to himself. Why are you so amazed that this guy is able to teach, and go through the Bible, which you can see that a lot of these modern day Christian, preachers, they do the same thing. So what is so amazing about Tazadakia? Or why does that force you to have to follow this guy and believe his every word, to the point where you won't even believe actual evidence that's being brought out against you, testimonials and physical evidence? The jackets, I mean, Emmanuel's Father's Day card. You have his Prada shoes. You have even his New York State license that was all brought out. But, this is something that needs to marinate, because what starts to happen is you start to get that mental stress, that mental anguish of cognitive dissonance. If you research cognitive dissonance, this is a mental anguish that when you hold two contrary beliefs at the same time, your mind just can't bear it any longer. You'll drive yourself insane, which is what happens to some members in that church. Unfortunately, some members get so stressed out that they even go to the point of suicide. And there was one brother in Orlando, Florida. And the brother that took his life, his name was Gerald. I believe it was Gerald Jones. And he was always going to the hospital back and forth. And this was because his wife got terminally ill with cancer. So these were her last days, and he was in the church, and he was pretty new in the church, and we were always being told, like, we have to do unit work. I mean, the unit work became overbearing to the point where the brother wasn't spending that much time with his dying wife, you know, so she was getting worse by the day. And I remember there was one time when Tazadakia came to Orlando, and this same brother was asking Tazadakia questions and help, you know, dealing with the stressful situation that he's in. But you see that there was really no comfort in that, in any of Tazadakia's words. Nothing helped the brother, because the brother went off to take his life because his wife eventually ended up dying from cancer. And he was trying to, you know, bring in his children, teach everybody about the church, and nobody was listening to him, and everybody was just like, you know, this is, your wife is dying, pretty much. That's what I would have been saying if I was his son. You know, why aren't you at the hospital? Forget about doing unit work and handing out flyers for something that doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you saw that the words that Tazadaki gave this brother was of no comfort. Why isn't there an effect happening from this man? If this man has the Holy Spirit, how come he doesn't have a grand effect on a majority of people, especially the members in the church? How come everything he gets close to turns to crap? Everything that he gets close to, he damages. Everything that he gets close to, he poisons, including his ex-wives, who are testimony. So these are things that you have to ask yourself. If this is the truth, where the words of God is powerful and the Spirit of God is among you guys, how come there's people in there that want to take their own life? There's an elect lady that now wants to take her own life, and there's a brother that already took his life. And this is what happened with Nisha, who was the baby mother of Tazadakia. She got so stressful that she wanted to take her life, and this is why Tazadakia has custody of the children. But he's going to manipulate and have you guys believe that she's evil and wicked, but then so is this select lady that wanted to take her life. Isn't she evil and wicked too? So how come you guys have a bias towards Tazadakia? Apparently it's obvious that you guys have a confirmation bias towards Tazadakia, so you always will give him the benefit of the doubt. That's illogical. I was basically put out of the church because I stopped coming around, because the work became overbearing when Yashar had us doing unit work 7 days a week, and then I had to teach 3 Hebrew Academy classes. I was over public relations. You know, I had many hats. I wore many hats in that church. I used to teach many classes in the Hebrew Academy. I mean, I was over academics. Just for some of y'all that don't remember, this is some of the works that I put into the church. You know, so for me to come out and speak, it should be enough evidence, because some of y'all brothers, I'm a one, for example, you still have some of my clothes in your closet that I gave to you. This was out of the kindness of my heart. I didn't have to do that. There's a lot of brothers out there that I've helped out. Wilney Aris, you another one, Moaf Kashapp, who, you know, I've actually towed your own car with a sedan. You know, I've helped you out. I've picked you up stranded out in the highway before. You called me on my birthday to pick you up from the highway because you were stranded. You know? So I remember these things. And y'all cats, y'all get amnesia when it comes to, you know, Tazadakia. Why do you have to protect this man so much? I mean, if his wives are all wicked and evil, then, you know, then doesn't the scripture say that a wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man? You know? I mean, you have all these scriptures that you can still use against Tazadakia. Why is the church being raided? Doesn't the Bible say rulers are not a terror to good works, but to evil? So, I mean, you can say that, oh, we're being persecuted, but when you have so many people saying the same thing and so much evidence, what do you expect these people to do that found the evidence? Were they supposed to obstruct the evidence and hide it and protect Tazadakia so he can keep robbing blacks and Hispanics, poor blacks and Hispanics? Is this what you expected these members to do? So you have to ask yourself, you know, these questions. What is our motivation? You know, we do have lives of our own, but we're very, very concerned about these members that are still in the church, because we don't know what Tazadakia is liable to tell you guys and have you guys do. And be very, very careful if you hear some new fund coming out, that he's trying to collect some new big fund that everybody has to pay. You better be mindful of these things, because you don't know at any time this man could pull off and try to, run away from justice. Ironic that his name means he is my justice. But here you are, the law is coming down on you, Tazadakia. So we just give it time. The investigation is still pending. Even if there isn't an arrest at the end of the trial, if it goes to trial or whatever ends up happening, that doesn't mean that Tazadakia has not done any wrong in the eyes of God, even if the court system fails. So let's wake up, brothers and sisters.